Since a juvenile, up in Spofford we was running wild. No non-secure, 18 months and then you touch it down. No phone calls to the world, shit'll break you down. Find out your brother in the morgue and they spinning now. And your grandma soon be gone, ain't no fixing that. And that phone gon' remind you got a minute left. I know they see a nigga stressed.
So special.
Lot of young nigga blessed. I paint this picture from a dark place.
Poverty is a state or condition in which a person or community lacks the financial resources and essentials for the minimum standard of living. Welcome back to Prison Diaries. I'm your host, Ayishah Shelby-Moore, and today we're sitting here with Mo Money from Brooklyn.
Let's do it.
How you doing, Mo?
I'm all right. Feel
It's
good
good
to
to
be
have
here.
you. Thank you. So where are you originally from?
Brooklyn, East New York.
Oh, gang.
I wish it was all that sweet, but
Right. So how was it growing up in East New York?
terrible. If you gotta put it in one word, East New York is like shit. You might as well take every part of Brooklyn and sit it right there in the center. That's what East New York was for us. Ain't no role models and none of that over there. All the old heads is like, all right, just do whatever you want. And half of them might condone it. So East New York was terrible.
How old were you when you were first introduced to the system?
I had just turned 19. So I wasn't eligible for no YO or none of that.
Wow.
Yeah.
So what happened, if you don't mind me asking?
I mean, I could talk about it now. The case done. I did my time for it already. But long story short, couple dudes in East New York, got into a little altercation with them. Long story short, I went and did the normal thing, what was normal for me back then. Like a couple dudes tried to jump me. I'm like, all right, you know what? I'm going to get my gun. And took that route with it. Police end up running me down. Pull over, XYZ. I'm like, look, we not doing that. I'm like, I know I'm young, I'm black, I got a gun on me. I know I'm your target, so I know it's either my life or your life. And it just escalated like quickly from there. I ended up being apprehended. They sent me away for 2.5 years.
Where did they send you?
Green Correctional.
And that's upstate New York.
Yeah.
How was it like going to Green Correctional?
Green is like.
Like the ride there, what was going through your mind?
Yeah, I knew even before I got the Green, like they send you to Rikers Island, you fight your case out or whatever. But the whole ride from Rikers Island and Green Correctional, I had my mind set on, look, I got one focus right now. That's to do my time and come back home. Like, my only thought was from the stories you hear on Rikers, they'll tell you like, yo, you catch a new charge, you never coming home, X, Y, and Z. So my focus was, me being young, angry, mad at the world, mad at the system. I'm like, let me keep myself from catching another charge when I get up here. And I was like, that's all I kept thinking about constantly for the whole ride.
So you say you was at Rikers before you went up north. How was Rikers being a juvenile? Were you considered a juvenile?
Nah.
They put you with adults? Yeah,
they skipped me right past that stage. And I was like, it's pretty much like what you see normally in a hood or whatever they want to call it, is that intensified. Because it's nowhere for you to go. You constantly have to deal with that. When you out here, you can say, I don't want to deal with this today. I'm going to go over here. I'm going to go somewhere where it's less violent, less dangerous. Rikers is none of that. Like you in the middle of violence, you in the middle of danger 24/7. So it's like, you make a decision. You either going to adapt to it or you're going to, try to stray away from it. And my mind was already made up. I made the decision to adapt. Like, you know what? Like, I already come from this environment in the street. So, like, it ain't going to be too hard for me to turn into the person that I got to be on Rikers Island.
Right.
And that was the young way of thinking, but it got me through it.
So going up north, what was your first day like?
They hit you with the scare tactic at first. They hit you with the COs yelling in your face, or yo, this is our jail. You don't run nothing. They do the whole scare tactics and the whole nine. But aside from that, I was just trying to figure out how everything operated. Like I wanted to know the ins and outs. I wanted to know what the phone was like, how the phones is operating. I wanted to know about the yard, like what time we go outside, X, Y, and Z. Like, so I spent my first day just doing that, like trying to figure everything out. Because again, you gotta adapt. You know what I mean, to these kind of environments. So I knew from what I was told already, like, oh, this is not gonna be nothing like Rikers Island. It's a whole new environment. I'm gonna have to adapt to this again. And I was like, all right. From there, I just learned whatever I could.
During that time that you spent the 2 years in that facility, like, what do you feel like was the hardest part?
Um, I want to say staying level headed, like knowing you got people waiting on you, like people expecting you. You know, when you get there, they give you a date. So they say, all right, look, this is the earliest possible date you could come home, and you give that to your people outside. You letting them know, like, yeah, look, this is the day I'm coming home. I countdown starts. And in the back of your mind, though, it's like, all right, I know at any given time they could take that date. Like that date could turn into something completely different. So my whole thing was just trying to make sure I didn't do nothing to mess up that date. Like I wanted to make sure I came home the day I was supposed to. No no issues, nothing like that. And shit, unfortunately it didn't even work.
Was it hard to stay out of trouble being in that environment?
Oof. It's trouble will find you, even if you ain't looking for it. Like I'm talking that not even just from inmates, like from COs, from the eldest period up there. It's like they look at you in green like you're a kid. It don't matter what age you are. Like I didn't seen them talk to grown men like they was children. So the level of respect up there is different. And then you throw racism and everything else in the midst of that, and it's like
How was the racism with the correction officers?
they don't they blatant with it. Like it's open.
Like what? Give an example.
They don't have no problem coming in there and letting you know, like, yeah, we don't like your kind, you little nigga. Like they'll tell you that to your face. And it's like knowing you can't do nothing about, like, anybody else tell you something disrespectful, your first thought is, you know what, I gotta do what I know how to do. Like I was trained to treat disrespect differently. So I'm looking at them like, oh, we can't do nothing about this. Like there's nothing we can say or do about this. Like I knew if like when every time a CO made a racist remark to me, I knew if I did the wrong thing, I was going to the box. It was adding more time on to my sentence. So it was like,
So you feel like they like tried to trigger inmates to make sure that they did something to get more time?
yeah, that's a normal tactic for them. Like that ain't even out of the ordinary. Like you're gonna see that up there 24/7.
Have they ever starved you?
Too many times. Like in a box alone, you limited to a meal at about 5:30 in the morning, and then they give you another meal at about 12:30, and then your last meal is at 5. Think about it. If you coming from the street or you coming from your own, environment, you used to eating whenever you want, whenever you feel like it. Imagine being told like at 5 o'clock is the last time you're gonna eat for the day. You only ate twice before. You probably done ate some BS because they coming in there sliding your tray under the cell in the box. So you probably done ate some bullshit. Excuse my language. And it's like by 5 o'clock, you eat at 5 o'clock. By 7, 8 o'clock, you still hungry again, and your body is not accustomed to that. So it's like, all right, now I just know from 5 until whatever time I fall asleep, I'm not eating again at all until the next day. So it's like
Being in the box, how was that?
the box is like the box is inhumane. Like if I had to put it in one word, like that's not for a human being. Like it's like you literally feel and get treated like an animal when you in there, because it's like, all right, you you put food in a bowl for your dog or your cat, and you sit it on the floor. That's what they'll do in the box. Like they'll put your food on the tray or whatever and slide it across the floor. So it's like you already feel less than a human. And then couple that in with the fact that you in about 7 8 feet of space confined. Like you ain't. The most you can do is take 3 or 4 steps from corner to corner. Your bed is as small as it could get. Your mattress is about as thin as it could get, if you get one of those. And it's like, it's just not for a human being, like especially not for a grown man. Like I wouldn't wish that on any human being. Period.
So they put people in the box as a punishment. Do you feel like that's more of not a punishment, but more of like a torture method?
It's, I would say that. Like they find their ways to justify it. They say it's what's the word they use? Behavioral re-enhancement, or however they decide to classify it. But I feel like it's really just like for their own sick little pleasures or whatever. Because I look at it like this: I haven't seen an inmate get sent to the box and come out the box like a better human being than when he went in there. Like I seen good dudes go in there and come out terrible. Like I'm talking about no regard for anything because you done already treated this man like an animal when you sent him there. So you can't expect this man to come out better. Like of course he's gonna come out worse.
In that process of being in the box, like, what do you go through?
That's that's pretty much just you to yourself for literally 23 hours a day, every single day.
Mentally, like, what does that do to you?
Like if if your mind is not, like everybody might work different, but luckily, like my mental was sharp enough for me to find something to do with all of that time. Like 23 hours a day is a long time to sit in one spot and be forced to do nothing. Like my mind immediately went to writing. I do music. That's my craft. So I trained my brain to just say, you know what? If I'm not gonna do nothing else, I'm gonna write. I'm gonna work out. I'm gonna put myself on a schedule. That way, I know exactly how I'm gonna spend my time in here. I know exactly when I'm getting out. But
How long did you spend in the box?
um, about I want to say about 2.5 weeks maybe. Like ironically, I went to the box with 5 days left to come home. So they held me a little past my date, and then I had to do about another week and a half, 2 weeks maybe, until my hearing was done, and then they let me home.
When you walked into jail, you were one way. Do you feel like, being in jail for 2 years, being in the box for 2 weeks, that changed you?
Uh, I want to say it didn't necessarily make me better. It just made me more aware of the decisions that I was making. Like I knew I had a chance to walk off. Like during the time, I went to the box multiple times during my bid, but the last time I went to the box showed me like, now it's time to start making better decisions. Like yeah, CO put his hands on me or whatever. That was one of those times where I should have just walked off. Like, hey, you know what? Like it ain't even worth it. Like I got.
What do you mean he put his hands on you?
Like literally put his hand, like literally punched me in my jaw. Like and this is a whole CO. Like a man of my same race, my same ethnicity, put his hands on me, and it was just like, all right. Like I could have walked away, but it's like I wasn't thinking that at the time. It was like, all right, I got 5 days left to come home.
Do you feel like that's why he did it?
I believe so. Like because they'll test you. Like they'll see if they could break you. And that was his way of breaking me. Like I had 5 days left to come home. I should have just did what any other smart individual would have did and say, you know what, I'm gonna walk this off. But I chose to take another route. I put my hands on them. They sent me straight to the box. So it was like.
And he wasn't penalized for putting his hands on you?
I highly doubt it. Even after I beat my hearing, like 'cause they give you a little hearing process and everything else. Even after I beat my hearing, I'm almost 100% certain he still got his job, no penalty behind it, no repercussion behind it, nothing. Like, I'm pretty
Are
sure.
you on parole?
Nah, I maxed out on parole about 2 years ago.
You want to say his name?
I honestly don't remember his name. Like, and it's so crazy. This is a CO that I never had no words with, nothing. Like, it was just like we never prior to that incident, never had an altercation, never had a. It was never anything like between us, and that's why it came to me as a shock. I'm like, yeah, you just put your hands on me. Like, I get it if you was somebody I disrespected on a day to day, or like if we even had that type of playing around relationship or whatever, but like he meant absolutely nothing to me. So it's like, damn, for you to put your hands on me, hold on, we're not doing this, and I lost it.
What was the medical like in the prison you were in?
To be honest, I couldn't even tell you. Like, I can't even tell you what that's like. Like, you got a broken bone, a fractured bone or something. I done seen dudes come back next 2 days. Like, you just got a little scar, you're gonna be alright.
Oh my God.
Yeah, like I done seen dudes get. I'm talking about face cut open on green and on that compound, and literally the same day they right back like ain't nothing ever happened.
Seeing things like that, do that like traumatize you?
It became the norm. Like, as bad as it sounds, like for us, for our culture or whatever, it becomes the normal when you've been in those type of situations, and it's like it shouldn't be, but this is what we facing every day. So it's like you see a dude get cut, and it's like, oh, all right, just walk past him. Like, they ain't got nothing to do with you. Mind your business. Just keep it pushing. Whereas you take somebody that never been in that situation, and their first option will probably be panic, or like call somebody or help them. Us, it was the complete opposite.
So, like, during your time in the facility that you was in, what kind of programs or anything that they offer you to like help you rehabilitate? Because that's the point of jail, to rehabilitate. I gotta do the quotations, rehabilitate.
Yeah, we know that ain't happening, but they pretty much offer you. It's every inmate, honestly. They offer every inmate something called phase 1, phase 2, and phase 3. That's basically your rehabilitation process. Like, that's what you leave in there with, unless you decide, like, you know what, I'm gonna go take up X, Y, and Z. Like, I'm gonna go take up some college courses or something like that. And even that, you gotta have a certain amount of time, like, under your belt for you to even do that. For you to even take these college courses they offering, or for you to like they offering trades too. Don't get it twisted. They offer like a trade that you can pick up.
That when you do those trades, that certificate says issued from the correctional facility on the bottom, correct?
Sure do.
So when you get home, can you use it or no?
You could. Me personally, I've never tried. I never took up one of those trades long enough to be like, you know what, like, I did it, because I felt like what they was offering, I had no use for it anyway. Like, I wanted some college courses, but they told me I didn't have enough time in for that, and it was like, I basically got discouraged along the way. I'm like, you know what?
You would think they would do that, the college courses more for somebody who has a lesser time and is younger, because they have a chance to come home and move forward.
And it's the complete opposite. Like, they want you to have a certain amount of time, and they want you to have a certain amount of time left. So it's like, I think the minimum while I was there was about 2 years. I think you had to have two more years left on the back of your sentence. So it was like, all right, I only remember I stood on Rikers Island for a few months, so I only had about a year and a half, 2 years exactly left to do. So it was like, they wasn't gonna give me that regardless. But the trades that they offering, you grab one of those certificates, it is most certainly gonna say issued by State Department or
correctional facility.
Yeah, like it. So even if you did try to present it to a job out here or something, they look at you like, all right. I don't take copies of my GED anywhere with me.
Why?
I don't take a copy of my GED on job interviews, none of that, because it says issued by the State Department of Corrections.
Seriously?
My GED says, like, you can look at my GED and immediately know that it's from Rikers Island. So it's like even if I wanted to tell like just jobs or employers that I do have it, like I would have to take a picture of it, crop out the top, and it's just like nobody wants to deal with that.
Right. And I just don't understand why they have to put it on there when they could just issue it from the state. You get what I'm saying? Especially if it was in New York. It should just be state issue from the state. I have my GED and it says issue from the state of New York, Department of Education. So I don't understand why I feel like they purposely do that. Yeah. Because it's like you're trying to better yourself, but then they're still reminding you of the mistake that you made consistently.
Right. I will hope that they're not still doing that. Like I got mine in 2014 to be exact. Like I that was the first thing I did on Rikers Island. I will hope like that process is changed like by now. Like I will hope somebody enforce that change and it's to where it's like I just put state of New York on it and just leave it at that. But if they didn't, that sucks.
Do you feel like your environment played a role in you ending up in jail?
Yeah, but I feel like it was more so. It was more so my decision making. Like don't get it twisted. My environment was terrible. But I knew, like as a kid, I had a strong sense of right and wrong, and it was like I felt like I was doing wrong for the right reasons. So it was like, all right, like I grew up piss poor neighborhood, East New York. Like I wanted more than that. So I felt like me hustling or me doing X, Y, and Z is gonna get me out of here a little bit faster than the average individual. But not knowing, like my environment already had plans, like for people like us, like for people that thought that way. So it was like, all right.
So you feel like coming from a poor criminal environment that's infested with crime, it's like 10 times harder to make it out?
Of course. Most certainly. Like you have to do and work twice as hard as the average person would somewhere else. Even 3 times as hard, probably. Because just our zip code alone, like on a job application, is enough for them to be like, all right, yeah, we don't need you here. Mm-hmm. Like I done sat down with employers like that'll teach you basically the interview process. And they say it themselves. Like, yeah, one of the first thing I look for is a zip code. And I didn't understand it at first. I'm like, what? Like, why would you not look for the resume first? Right. Like, why would that not be your the experience? Why would that not be your go-to? And they'll tell you where you coming from is plays a major part in whether or not we're gonna give you this job or not. Like you don't see a bunch of my zip code is 11217. You don't see a bunch of that in these places of employment.
Right.
Yeah, like we at the bare minimum of East New York, even having employment. So it's like.
Did you find your passion for music in jail?
Nah, I've been writing since I was a kid. Like I always had a thing for music. That was like my escape route. But
escape route from what?
Like from everything, from my environment. Like when I knew it was getting too hectic, for me, I just zone out. Like I grab a pen, pencil, whatever I could find, put on some music and just zone out. Like that was my way of getting over all the BS that we had to deal with on the regular. So jail just enhanced it. Mm. Jail made me feel like, you know what? Let me take it that much more serious. Because now this is not just an escape route for me when I'm in my feelings or when I'm emotional. Now I know this is an escape route of really making it out of my environment. Like I could really escape now. Like if I take my craft a little bit more serious. So.
Did they offer you any counseling or therapy coming out the box or prior to your release?
Nah, they send you to a what they call it's supposed to be counseling, like parole mandate you to like an anger management facility or something, but
that's after you're already released.
Yeah, like that's
Like you coming out the box before they put you back into population, they don't do nothing
at all.
They just throw you back into population.
You're going right back with everybody else, and they just waiting for you to make another mistake. That's all that is.
What happens like if something happens to somebody? They try to like reach out to the warden of the facility, or get help from somewhere.
The COs are label you snitch. Like they I'm telling you, that goes on every day. Like it's I watch dudes do that. Like think like, oh yeah, I could write a little letter. Like they be mindful. They keeping track of your mail and everything that's coming in. So they reading your letters before you even get them. So let them even see something that's remotely close to you making a complaint or something like that. And that's all they need to terrorize you on that compound or whatever jail you're in. Like
and what do you mean by terrorize?
It'll go from them saying it blatantly, like in front of other inmates, like, oh, he's a snitch. Like, yeah, he's a snitch. You like to write letters, you like to snitch, X, Y, Z. And then it'll even go as far as, you know what? Now we're gonna put a hold on your mail. Like now when this is due to go out, a little mistake is gonna happen, and your people's in the town to be like, yo, I ain't never get no letter from you, and whole time you'll be thinking like boy, I sent that letter out weeks ago, like months ago even, and it's like, all right, they playing games with your mail now, so it's like
the only thing you have to look forward to.
Yeah, you don't want to be put in that situation, so it's like, why bother even attempt to write a complaint on these dudes? Like, unless you're ready unless you have it in place to take it to the higher ups, like I'm talking about Albany, as far as it could go. Unless you like made up your mind already that that's where you want to take it, like it don't even make no sense to go forward. Like I seen dudes try it, but
is there consequences like the COs come in and put their hands on you behind that?
Yeah, of course. I mean, they probably they doing it behind closed doors. It's not even a problem.
Right.
Like they doing whatever they want behind closed doors. But you got to remember, a lot of these facilities is cameras around, X, Y, Z.
Now.
So yeah, like so they're a little discreet, like a little more discreet about how they go about certain things. And the alternative to that is just them finding a reason. So they just find a reason to put hands on you.
So when you found out you was being released, how did you feel?
Woo.
I love asking this question.
Yeah, I'm talking about. Woo, they could listen. Look, they could have told me that they was giving me $1 million to stay one more day. You could have offered me $1 million to stay one more day in that box, and it was nah. I'm out of here. Like I got people waiting on me. I got stuff to do. I got places to be. I'm out. Open this gate. They asked me that I want to wait for some clothes. And I'm like, what? You crazy? I'm like, listen, what I got on right now is what I'm leaving with. Khakis and white. Got on that train just like that. Ain't wait for nothing. I ain't want to, I don't want to make no phone call. I don't want to do any of that. Just let me out of here.
How was your first day home?
I got home and laid on the floor. I'm telling you right now. The very first thing I did, I got home and laid clean across the floor. Like, you know what? Anywhere feel better than where I just came from.
Mentally, how did you feel?
Free. Like if I had to put it in one word, my thoughts was clearer. I knew like I don't gotta plan like my next 13, 14 days in a box. I don't gotta plan my next altercation with a CO. Like I didn't have to worry about none of that no more. Now they say in jail you got time to plan your future. No, you don't. When you get out of jail, that's when you have time to plan your future. Because in jail you have to plan for everything else. You got to plan for how I'm gonna act if this person does this to me. How am I gonna react to if I wake up and I'm having a bad day? You got to plan for all of that. Amidst, you got to think for the 50 other individuals that live in a household with you. So in the middle of all of that, it's no time to plan for your future. Your future planning starts the day they open that gate and say, you know what, look, you can go home. that's when I started planning my future from right there.
When you were incarcerated, did you meet anybody that you felt like, dang, they here, like, they deserve another chance?
Plenty of people. I got an older brother that been incarcerated for the last 10 years, like ongoing, like just BS behind something that he absolutely did not do. Like just wrongfully convicted, and it was either go to trial and risk doing 25 or
Copping out.
just take this 10 and be on your way. Like he's at the end of that 10 right now.
That's good.
And it's like, damn, like I know if they could do that to him, like this a dude with he don't have no priors, nothing. I mean, if they did that to him, I mean, I can imagine how many of these dudes is in here just sitting here just like him, no priors, nothing, just caught up in some BS. Look, had to take the time. So it's like I used to see those kind of dudes and and be mad like damn, it's no reason for y'all to be in here right now. Like I know at least I know what I did. Like I know why they put me here. I'm cool. I made my peace with it already. But it's like y'all on the other hand, I don't have no reason to be here and y'all gotta deal with this kind of. I used to wake up mad just thinking about that.
Do you have any flashbacks from jail?
And the furthest my PTSD go is my sleep. Like I don't think I slept the same since my very first incarceration. I ain't sleep the same yet because it's like it's a trust thing. Like and not even they get a little bit deeper. It's really a mental thing. Like you don't know what's gonna happen in your sleep. Like they're being on Rikers Island, they done woke me up 5 o'clock in the morning, opening my cell, and hearing that gate slam over and over again, and you don't know what to expect. It's like, all right, do I get up and fight? Do I get up and like you don't know what to do? Like, do I gotta get up and get naked because they coming in here to do a search? Like your mind don't know what it is that's about to happen. So, and they do that whenever they feel like it.
How did that make you feel when they used to like strip search you and stuff?
I hated it. I stopped my visits for that. Like I stopped going on visits behind that. Like it got to a point where it's like I know every visit. This is what I'm subject to deal with. Like I'm getting a visit for an hour, and then be it my wife or whoever's coming to see me, and then directly when I come off this visit floor, I gotta go strip for a man. It's like hell no, I don't want no visits no more. Like bad enough I got stripped when I get searched. Now you telling me in order for me to see my loved ones, I gotta strip to come down here, and then I gotta strip again when I leave? Nah. It was like, all right, we're not doing this. But that's how they try to break you though. Like they try to degrade you in any way possible. Like, and that's the part that they don't tell you. Like they don't dudes that talk about jail or rap about it in music X, Y, Z. Like they make it sound cool, but they don't give you that part. Like yo, all them visits you gotta go get naked every time. There's no way around that. Like it's no way around that. Is a male CO, you're never gonna you're never gonna get a female CO. So it's like you just uncomfortable every single visit. It's like you don't want to deal with that.
Have you been to therapy since you've been home?
As far the furthest I went was for anger management. Because I knew I still had one, I was mandated. Like I had to go for anger management. For two, I knew like I still had personal like issues. Whether it was with the system, whether it was with just people out here, like being home that I done encountered, that I done been problems with from when I was a kid. Like I knew I had to get all of that out of my system, or I was gonna keep going back. Like I was gonna keep going back with whether it be jail or I was just gonna keep finding myself in trouble. Period. So I chose to like do the anger management to get all of that out of the way. Like I don't want to be mad. I don't want to see the wrong person and then be mad enough to the point where, damn, I gotta go back to prison.
Right.
Like I didn't.
That thought, does that scare you?
Yeah, that's why you learn to just let go. Like you learn to just be like, you know what, it is what it is. Because we from an environment where we hold grudges forever. Like, and it's like, nah, I'm not doing that no more. I'm not holding a grudge from 12 years ago, 13 years ago. Some shit I probably can't even remember how it started. And I'm just holding on. I'm risking my freedom, my life, my money, my family. I'm risking all that. Like for something that don't hold no meaning no more. So it's like,
You know, it's crazy. Like everyone that I interview, no matter if they did a day or 20 years, it's this look in your eyes. You know, because I'm looking at you now and I see it, you know, and it's like, it makes me sad because it's like, it changes people in a way that they can never be changed back.
it's almost like, I want to say like they take a piece of you. Like when they incarcerate you, they take a piece of you. Like there's a piece that you can't, like you can't. Time is one thing that don't ever stop. Like it just keep moving and keep moving. That's just the laws of nature, laws of life. When they take that from you though, that time they take from you, that's one of those things you can't get back. So it stays. Like it's like removing a piece of a sculpture or something. And like the sculpture is still staying, but when you look at it, it's like, oh shit,
Something's missing.
yeah, like it's a part of that's not there no more. And that's what prison is doing, like in our community.
I always tell people that the prison system is like the biggest pimp, you know, because they make so much money off of, you know, minorities being incarcerated.
Yeah.
It's more so as a business instead of a rehabilitation. You get what I'm saying? And I think if more people realize that, they wouldn't make the mistakes. Because you giving them your life, your money, your family's money, your girl money, like everything that you can't get back.
When you dealing with the prison system, it's like it's a feeling that don't go away. Like I've been, unfortunately, I've been dealing with them since I was 19. Before that it was just petty trips to central bookings or XYZ, but I'm 26 now. So it's like even after all the years of going back and forth or whatever, like you still don't get back. Like no matter how much time go past, you still don't get back that piece of you that you feel like they took. Like you don't. I was thinking like after a certain amount of time, you know, I start feeling like myself again. Like I get to be there. But nah, that piece don't come back. Like you wake up still feeling like you, like yourself, but it's like I know something missing. And what's missing is something I can't get back. I can't get back my time that I had to give them. I can't get back like the dignity that they stripping us of when we go in there. Like it's just a bunch of stuff that you can't undo.
Mm-hmm.
Stuff you can't undo, stuff you can't unsee. So it's like,
it's traumatic.
Yeah.
And if it don't affect you while you're going through it, it's definitely gonna affect you when you come home.
Yeah.
That's why I asked, did you get therapy? I think anger management is one thing, but actually expressing yourself and getting down to the rooted, you know, feelings. I think everyone coming from jail needs that. Because like you say, you violate it in ways and you can't do nothing about it. You see things that you can't, you know, you feel helpless.
And it'd be, I understand if they was offering it, but you have to go looking for that help yourself.
Right.
Like you, and a lot of us, not for nothing, don't even know that we need it. Mm-hmm. Like when we come home, we don't realize that we need it until it's like a lot of times it be too late. Like you can't. Myself, an example. Like I done caught myself getting up out my sleep thinking like some of the worst stuff possible, and it's like I'm home. Like I'm not in jail no more. Like I'm not confined no more. But I still catch myself waking up. Like, you know what? Sign off. Like let me check my surroundings in my room. Like let me check my surroundings in my room. Like something ain't right in here. And it's like you don't think you need counseling or whatever for that, but after a while you realize like, yo, I wasn't like this good 7-8 years ago. Like I wasn't waking up out my sleep checking my room when I was 16, 17. Like that wasn't a thing for me. But after prison, it's ongoing.
Do you think the environment in jail is like angry and violent?
Yeah, most definitely. It's hard to find peace in there unless you in a place like the box. Like when you're in the box, that's when you have unlimited time to yourself. So it's like, I got some thinking room, I got some breathing room. Now I could plan some things out and could possibly like. But when you're in population, it's like you don't have 30 minutes out the day to sit there without having to worry about, man, what is these 49 other inmates doing? Like, what are they doing around me?
That can make somebody go crazy. That's like borderline having anxiety attacks all day.
Yeah, like you just
In a state of panic, but keeping a poker face, but waiting for something to happen. That has to be like so overwhelming.
And it's to a point where you have to adapt to it. Like if you don't, like your entire bid will just be all over the place. Like if you don't find a way to maneuver through it, if you don't adapt to it, your bid will be. You'll find yourself doing 90 days in a box on this day, and then another 30 for this term. Like you'll just be all over the place. Like and that's the reason majority of dudes in prison is walking on eggshells. Like and even bringing that back home, like to their environment. Like it's not because they want something to happen. They just want to be prepared for it. Like they just don't want to. They don't want it to catch them off guard. So
coming home, like, when did you start like getting back into music?
immediately, like that was the second thing I did. First thing I did was laid on the floor.
It's laying on the floor.
Second, I kid you not. Second thing I did was call my engineer. Like, yo, look, I need a session as soon as possible. As soon as you can get me in there, let's do it. And he gave me a date, called the cameraman, and that was the first thing I did. Jump right back into it.
How did it feel to like just express yourself openly again?
Like to me, it's no better feeling than that. Like that's what my music is for. Like
That's your therapy.
yeah, like and I feel bad that everybody don't have that. You know, because I feel like everybody needs some type of therapy. Like be it physical one-on-one, you with a counselor / therapist, or be it you taking an hour out your day to draw, or even if you do music, you taking an hour out your day to write, record, do something. Like we all need that coming from where we come from. So it's like that was literally like what my one thing I held on to. Like I know, like if nothing, if I don't do anything else, this is gonna get me over it. Like I'm gonna get over it through this. And that's what I started doing. I just started putting everything I felt, everything I had to deal with, I started putting it in music.
Did you make any songs about jail?
Too many. too many. And I'm talking about from videos and all. Like it's a song I did called Trauma. It was Meek Mill's song. I remixed it. But the song is basically just to explain, like, not even explain, to exploit, like the foul, like, stuff that go on behind, like, in the penitentiary, like, and the trauma that comes even when you outside of it. Like, it was to showering, like, it goes as far as that. Like, you don't never, like, when you're home, you don't have a shower routine. You just get up and you go take a shower. Being in prison, like you have to have a shower routine. Like you have to. All right, look, this time I'm getting in the shower. I gotta make sure I got everything I need with me. There's no coming out. Oh, I forgot this. So you have to pack everything up, take it in the shower, pack everything up while you in there, take it back out. So it's like I started bringing that home with me. And I was like, damn. And in the song, I expressed like, yo, I can't even get in the shower like now, like without having my slippers on. like without a certain type of slippers, because you know, in prison when you go to get in that shower, you might have to fight. Like you, there's always a chance you're gonna have to fight in the shower. Unfortunately, dudes like to use that to their advantage. Floor wet and there's no COs back there. So and my mind kept saying, you know what? Get your slippers. Go get your slippers, bro. You might have to fight, or you don't want something to happen and then you don't got no grip and you fall. And I was like, damn, I'm bringing this home. Like it's nobody in the shower to fight. Like I ain't got to fight in here. Like I'm in the shower by myself. I could wash up, do what I got to do, and get out of here. But it be those little type of traumas that people overlook, and it's like damn, I picked this up in prison. Like this is something I never would have did if I didn't go to prison. Like I never even would have thought, oh, all right, bet, let me take some slippers. Let me get in the shower. Let me step in the bathtub in some slippers.
Right.
Like I would have never thought that. But prison made it the normal. Like you got to go in there with some slippers on. So just stuff like that. Like I write about it because I try to prevent people from having to deal with that same way of living. Like it ain't like dudes that give you not the fun part, but dudes give you
The glorified part.
and that's exactly what it is. Dudes that glorify it, but they not telling y'all everything. They not telling y'all everything at all. Like it's so much more behind it, and I want to exploit it. Like because if that's what it's going to take to keep us from going, then that's what it is.
Who is Money Mo now?
Woo. Well, money is listen. Father, songwriter, entertainer, family oriented. I'm all over the place now, but all in all, I'm working on being the man that I need to be for me.
That's right, black man.
Like
That's right.
yeah, I spent a lot of time being the person I thought I needed to be for everybody else. Like I was the person the streets needed me to be. I was the person that the prisons needed me to be. Now I'm being the man I need to be for me now. Like I got some stuff I got to do for myself. So it's like, and I got to do that to be able to take care of people that I plan on taking care of, and I mean in the long run. So in order for me to get everybody else right, I got to get me right first.
If there's somebody in jail right now that's watching this and you could give them any advice, like they got a bit ahead of them, they just got there, what would you tell them? Looking at
I would say, for the most part, I would say don't fall for the trap. Like it's a lot of that going on in prison. Like don't do what you think like everybody else. Again, forget what everybody else will expect you to do. Like it's a lot of that going on in prison. Do what you think is right for yourself. Like it's you 9 times out of 10 you in an environment with 49 other people. Forget about what them 49 other people got going on. Do what you got to do for you, and your bed gonna go a lot smoother. Like that's what I would say to hold on to.
what would you tell somebody that don't have no hope right now? Like they ain't even thinking as far as to come home.
Look, I say whether you got 10 days or you got 10 years, you got a date. Even if you don't got a date, even if you got life on the end of your sentence, you got to fight. Like it's dudes that don't have any date on the back of their bed that got so much fight in them. Like I done seen dudes in the law library every day pushing for appeals, pushing for law changes. Like if you feel like you don't got nothing else, hold on to that fight. Like that fight go a long way. Like I'm talking about my fight done took me from looking at 7.5 to 15 to a 2.5 year bid upstate. And I'm talking about I'm fighting lawyers, uh, judges, DAs. Like I'm fighting. Like yo, look, this right here, I'm not taking this. You're not gonna send me away for this amount of years behind this crime knowing like this is my first offense. I got it's all type of odds in my favor, and on top of that, y'all did everything wrong on y'all end. So like again, just fight. Like hold on to that fight, because once you let that go, that's when the system won. They feel like they won. They feel like they can do whatever they want with you.
If you could say something to like I wouldn't say just a teenager, but anybody that's about to like make a wrong decision that's gonna make them end up in prison. Like somebody out there from where we come from that environment, criminal, crime infested area, and they lost right now. They don't have no way. They're trying to maneuver and find a way. And what would you say to them?
No, they be it you doing it for money, be it you doing it for popularity, whatever your reason is for doing whatever you about to do for whatever it is, think about how it's gonna affect you. Like don't think for don't think for the people around you. Their life is gonna continue. Like your family, your loved ones, everybody, they're gonna be hurt. Like when you do what you do, they're gonna be hurt. Of course, it's gonna affect them. But your time stops. Their time continues. Like that's what I be trying to get people to see now. Like when our time stop, everybody else time keep going. The minute they put us in that prison, time for us stop. Like we almost in like a little bubble. But everybody else outside of that is still growing, still learning, still making their money. They still being able to go outside when they want, eat when they want, drink, do everything they want to do. You cannot. So before you do whatever it is you do, just think, your time is going to stop and the rest of the world is going to keep going. Ask yourself, do you want to be a product of that kind of environment? A timeless little bubble full of violence, full of XYZ, corrupt. If you want to be a part of that, then go on and do what you do by all means. But trust me, that's not the place to be. Like, not for nobody, no matter how much time you're doing.
Now, I know you said it was people who helped you during your bail. You want to say something to them?
Most definitely.
Right.
Listen, I'm talking about everybody from Rikers Island. Listen, Officer Graham, from Green Correctional, Officer Murphy. Like, I'm talking about everybody from the rec counselors, Cruz. Heck, listen, all of y'all. Thank all of y'all for getting me through my time. I mean, when I could have wowed out and I needed somebody to talk to, thank y'all, like, for keeping me sane, keeping me level-headed. Listen, I appreciate everything y'all done did. Word.
Just hearing your story and seeing like the person you are today, it just makes me proud. It's a lot of people that come from where we come from and they don't make it. And even when they go to jail, they come home, they don't have the type of mentality that you have, and did you come home to like a support system or you had to make a way on your own?
I came home to, don't get me wrong, like my family is, that's my rock. But I'm not big on like asking. Like I feel like if I have to ask for support, then you could keep it like for the moment. Like I don't want to have to ask for support because then I feel like I'm bothering you.
Right.
I feel like, so shout out to I definitely want to give a shout out to my family and everybody that was there. Like everybody that I didn't have to ask, like, yo, you know what? And they just did it because they could. I super appreciate it. But I mean, I was big on, yo, look, get up and go do it.
Right.
Like don't wait for nobody to do it for you. Because then you're gonna find yourself with idle time. And to me, idle time always meant, like, that always translated into jail time for me. Like, I feel like every time I had too much idle time, like when I wasn't working, wasn't going to the studio frequently, too much idle time always led to jail time.
Yeah, the saying idle time is the devil's playground.
Yeah.
Because it gives you, time to do and get into
you
nothing good.
You start thinking too much. Like, ain't nothing wrong with thinking too much. But listen, Nobody should have that much time on their hands to where you could think, you know, the kind of stuff that cross your mind and lead you
down the wrong path.
Yeah.
You see how you said in jail everything's a routine. Do you feel like coming home in order to make it, you need to make a routine to stay out of trouble?
Nah, I wouldn't say that. I feel like, I mean, I know my actions was more sporadic. I was all over the place because I wanted to be doing so much of the right stuff that I didn't have no time to do the wrong. So like I didn't follow no routine. I just like, oh, this is right over here, I'm going to do that. This is right over here, I'm going to do that. Like I try to put myself in as much as possible so that I didn't fall into the stuff that I didn't want to be in no more. Like I had to really just make a conscious decision. Like, hey, you know what? I know if I'm not doing this over here, I'm gonna be doing that. And it's like, nah, I can't afford that no more. Like, who knows? Like next time it might not be 2.5. It might not be a city year.
Right.
Next time I might have to take that 7. So I made up my mind like I don't want it to be a next time.
You wanna shout your brother out?
Yeah, most definitely. Listen, Santana, he'll be home very, very soon. Listen, the system cannot, he is living proof. The system cannot break you. That man did every ounce of his time, knowing he was wrongfully convicted, knowing he had to take that time. He did every ounce of it. Every ounce. And that man is on his way out that door right now. Listen, this is your last year being incarcerated. Shout out to him. That right there, it take a different, a very different level of whatever you want to call it. Like,
and being that you're on like such a positive track, you can keep him on track because, you know, being gone for that long is hard to readjust coming back. Because like you said, time stands still. So they don't pick up, they don't grow. They might grow mentally in other ways, but they're not growing how they should be if they were in the world. You get what I'm saying? Like you're sectioned off from your everyday life.
But if technology is passing you, everything is just
the world is just passing by because the world changes daily, you know. So I'm happy that you had the mindset that you had because him coming home, he's gonna need that. You know, he's gonna need somebody to remind him, to keep him focused, to keep him, and he got you as his younger brother, but now you could be the little big brother.
Listen, that's all I want. As long as he ain't never in a position again to where he gotta even remotely come close to going back the way he at, we straight. Like I want whatever is best for him, like coming forward, coming out of it. Like the fun, the party, and that's cool too. But listen,
it's time to get to business because you know it's time to get. You done spent 10 years. Yeah, let's get it rocking. The party's gonna be there. The girl's gonna be there. The baby's gonna be there. You know.
And Tanner, I hope you hear that. The girls is gonna be
there. The girls
gonna
be. It's plenty out here. It's plenty. You don't know what you missed because it's plenty, but they gonna be here. Just get you together. I just want to say thank you for being a part of this. I really appreciate it.
Definitely.
For you taking your time out, telling your story, your mindset is just, I'm just so proud. I don't even know you personally, and I'm just so proud that a black man coming from where I come from went through a traumatic experience, and even though you have some trauma effects from it, you're moving forward and you're growing and you became better, and you know just your mindset about life is just. Like I'm in awe right now.
Look, I want to thank you personally, like for doing this, like be it not even just for having me up here, but for what you're doing. It's a billion people in the world that's just like me that probably really need this. Like that, I'm talking about every day of their life. Like need to sit down and watch an episode of this. Like I checked out a couple of the episodes myself.
Thank you.
I know, like it get a little hectic sometimes. You know, we need a little reminder here and there. But there's millions of people in the world, all jokes aside, that really need platforms like this. Or be it just to watch it or just to come up and tell a story to get it off their chest.
Right. And that's the main reason why I wanted to do this platform is not only to help people express themselves because everybody, like you said, it's millions of people going through this, including their family members, you know, and it's hard to express yourself when you go through something like that. So not only did I want to help people express themselves, but I also wanted to give people who are incarcerated hope. Like, I want them to be able to relate to somebody that's home that went through what they went through, and they can look at you and be like, you know what, I could do my time. I could get through this.
Right.
I could change around. I could have a success story. This ain't the end for me. You get what I'm saying? So that's just what I'm trying to do. Like, we just, as Black people, as minorities in America, we got so many strikes against us, especially with the justice system. It was never been on our side. We've always been oppressed. We've always got the shitty end of the stick, I will say that. And I'm just proud to be able to just attempt to be a little, vessel and change, hopefully, God willing,
Nah, you ain't trying. You're doing it.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
So this right here is doing it.
Thank you. I appreciate it. You're going to make me cry. Stop. You want to give out your Instagram or anything? Because it's Mo Money. He went viral, y'all. Like this. He is so talented. His music is lyrically. It's not that, I got a nice beat. I got a hook. He's lyrically talented. He's going to be in somebody's top 5 in the next top 5.
I appreciate it. I super appreciate it. I really want y'all to just be on the lookout for my next release. I got a song I'm about to release called POMMAH. It's POMMAH. And then the acronym is basically product of my mind and heart. Because they look at us like, oh, he a product of his environment. He ain't no good. X, Y. Nah, like I'm not a product of my environment no more.
Yeah, when y'all created this environment for me,
yeah.
I almost fell, but now I'm a product of who I want to be.
Yeah, I'm out of that. I'm a product of my mind and my heart now. I'm doing what that says.
That's right, Black man. That's right.
I just want y'all to be on the lookout for that.
What's your Instagram? Say your Instagram.
Instagram is Mo Money the Goat Dummy. That's MOE Money. Everything else spelled regular. The Goat Dummy. DUMMY. You can find me everywhere. Apple Music, Spotify, Tidal. All you gotta do is type Mo Money. MOEMONEY. No spaces, no nothing.
Get y'all some lyrically good music, because this boy is talented. We ain't talking about no hot hand. We talking about real lyrics.
I'm trying.
Yeah, you're doing it. I'm telling you, I can see you 5 years from now. You're going to be up in Miami somewhere with your feet on a yacht. Like, already a millionaire. It's happening. It's people like you, who went through struggles, and God blesses them, and it's your time. It's definitely your time. Just keep, striving for greatness. Keep being great. Keep the mindset that you have, and stay dangerous out here. You feel me?
That's what it is.
Stay dangerous.
That's what it is. Shit.
I definitely appreciate you here at Prison Diaries, and thank you so much for taking the time to come on here.
Thank you again. Look, this wouldn't even be possible if it wasn't for you.
I paint this picture from a dark place, touching all base, 18 next to Canada, think I saw Drake. Nah, but I saw he was in the big box, he told me keep my shoes tied, don't ever leave a bruised pride. COs hold they noose high, favorites of their own kind, prison in their own mind, we living through it, do the time. Niggas snitching, dropping dimes, never was a friend of mine, working out my figure fine, but I just wanna hug my mom, tell my shorty she the one.